Hey guys, and welcome to a new build review. Today we're looking at a lethality build, but before we do that and go into more detail, I want to talk about a little project we started on my Discord. So someone had the idea to make a community montage from random Shaco clips, and I thought that was a great idea, so I made a little Google forum thingy, and you can click on that in the description, and if you want to send me some plays that you made, then you can do so. They should be around 10 to 3 minutes, or they can be 5 minutes as well, but don't send me a 50-minute game. I'm not gonna edit or download that. And yeah, I'm gonna make a little montage out of that and probably use some goblins from Mars music or something like that. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, link is in the description below. Our today's build is a lethality build, as already mentioned, and now that lethality has gotten a buff, and I'm just gonna tell you the buff before everyone asks it in the comments. Lethality immediately grants 60% of its value as flat armor penetration. Before it was only 40%, so that's 20% more that you get instantly, and then it ramps up with champion level, of course, as it did before. So now, of course, the thought comes to mind if lethality is better as before, and I can say this much: I've already tried it some on the stream and I think it is, which is obvious because of the 20%. So yeah, the Shaco build that we're looking here today is from the best or the highest Shaco. He is 511 LP challenger in Korea, which is pretty amazing. He's on the place 109. Small disclaimer before we start: I'm gonna be giving my opinion and thoughts about all the things like the masteries and the build and stuff like that. So if you think otherwise or have any opinion about that, then you can write that in the comments below without screaming at me like a monkey. That would be nice. Now that said, let's move right on into the build. The start is normal, of course. We're going for Hunter's Machete and refillable potion again. Then when he goes back, he goes for a time it if he can. If not, he's going for normal longswords. Now at this point there were several things that he did. He either went to buy mobility boots instantly, or he went for skirmisher saber, or he bought claw fields or just some swords, and then he went for the full red smite warrior. Now time it I've pretty much seen in 75% of the Shaco builds now. It's just great to clear the bird camp and also the crux, of course, and it just makes you faster and you can do more stuff and just keep up the farm as well. So great item. I use it pretty much every time. Mobility boots are still my favorite boots in my opinion, especially early. The more jump you get with your Q, the more distance. It just feels pretty great and you get around quicker, can do more stuff on the map. Of course, in combat you get slowed down, but with this build especially it really doesn't matter because you get more sources of movement speed and it's a really burst heavy build, so you won't be really running after people. You probably just one shot or fight them really quickly and then try to get out again. So yeah, then he finishes warriors. I really haven't seen warriors that much anymore. Either people skipped it or they went for Blood Razor most of the time. I've also seen Cinder Hulk sometimes, but not that often. I still kind of feel like warrior is a little underwhelming because of the Q damage, but I tried it on stream and it worked alright. But I feel like with Blood Razor you definitely have more fightability, that's for sure, like in 1v1s. But if you just want to go to lane or kill squishies and just do some burst damage and get out again, then it's still the better option, of course, compared to Blood Razor. Now after this he had like several builds, but now he's always building the lethality build. But just to tell you that build as well, he sometimes went for Ravenous Hydra and then for Black Cleaver and then just for some random other items that were right for the situation. But now he just goes for the lethality for at least like most of the last games that he played, so I'm gonna go with that. His first lethality item that he gets is Humus. I was really disappointed with all the nerfs that Humus was getting. First the 80 nerf and now the attack speed nerf on the passive, but it's still a great item to catch out people, so it still felt worth, because especially with the mobility boots as well, so here's coming in the movement speed that I mentioned before. If you hit someone from the back and like hit him 2 more times and it's not enough, and then you're just slow and they have like other boots, then you just can't really keep up with them. Actually, maybe you can with the E, but let's just say the scenario you still need like 2 hits or something. Then this is just really nice to stay on the target. And of course the lethality early now actually feels a lot better. Champions like Kha'Zix, Nocturne, those are just things that I play at the moment, just feel way stronger than before with the lethality builds now. Now after finishing that he goes for the next lethality item, which is Duskblade. When Duskblade came out, I was a big fan because I loved all the nifty things that it gave you. Giving you the Raptor buff to reveal wards, I loved that aspect. I love getting the damage in when you've been unseen for a second, I think it was. And then just the out of combat movement speed, which I love as well to get around the map, and overall just damage. So I felt this item was really freaking great, but as we've seen with the lethality, it wasn't quite as good as it promised, or as I felt like it was gonna be. Now with the 20% more damage, it did feel pretty good. Before the Shaco rework, I used to do this a whole lot, and this worked quite nice. This was my second build. My first build was the full crit. I still love this build, and I just hope that it's gonna come back, and I just want more Assassin Shaco. I do like the dual Blood Razor and Tanky Shaco, the one that Shaco doing as well. We're probably gonna review that as well at some point, but I'm just an Assassin player. I really like to do these full 80, even though if it's not the best option or something, it's just what is most fun to me, but that's just me. Now the next item is something really interesting that he builds occasionally. That means that sometimes he actually just gets that after getting boots or after finishing warrior, or maybe in the middle between Duskblade or Yumus. He goes for a Hextech Gunblade. Now I think the thought behind that is just like getting Sheen only on some champions and then just finishing a lot of other items. I think it's just to get that little burst proc in. And of course it's also nice if you do a lot of box play, I guess, and for the ult explosion, of course, I don't have to tell you what AP does, but I think he mainly just gets it if he needs a little burst. And it does feel good, but it does also feel shitty if you have all these items and then you buy that and then you want to finish a Hydra, but you don't have the place to buy parts of it. So that felt kind of shitty. So I sold it actually on my stream. But I think if like in a situation where you're not sure and you need a little bit more burst to like kill an 80 carry or something, I think it's a nice way of achieving that little chunk of damage. As already mentioned now, Hydra. He builds out the Ravenous Hydra. He never builds out the Titanic Hydra. And I've kind of dissed Ravenous Hydra a lot, but now that I got to play it a lot more, I feel like it's nice to sustain. You can just go in the jungle, heal up and go back again. I still think the proc damage or Titanic Hydra would actually benefit this build as well if you want to one-shot someone from behind. I still believe that I like that more, but it's definitely something that you can do, of course. And it's just nice to kill someone or just quickly burst someone and try and get out and then heal up on minions again and be able to go in again. Now another item I've already mentioned is Black Cleaver. He mostly went that against more tanky people or just tried that out randomly. But yeah, as I said at the beginning, we're focusing on the lethality today. Another item were Lord Dominic's, which is pretty obvious, just to burst those tanks a little easier, and another obvious item, more of Moditus for those mages. What I haven't seen him build is Edge of Night, to my surprise, because I thought if he likes lethality so much, then this would be a great buy, and like as like a third item maybe. I really want to try that as well, maybe make a video about that. But yeah, I haven't seen him buy that at all. He just went for more if he needed to buy magic resist against heavy AP damage. A rule that I made myself for more of Moditus is kinda if the enemy have two APs that could be annoying for you, or just one guy that's just completely destroying everyone. But yeah, mainly if they have two people that could get annoying, I normally get more on champions that I get more on. Let's now move over to the masteries. It's pretty standard again. He's just going for Thunderlords and for double-edged sword in the ferocity tree. Very standard stuff. He does go for Wanderer instead of Savagery, which of course helps again with the overall map presence a lot. Now the way this build works, I actually would have thought he might go for Storm Raider Surge because you don't really have the greatest dual potential. You don't have a lot of attack speed, or you don't get to hit that much. So if you don't kill someone real quickly, you just get bashed most of the time. And there's a lot of people that can 1v1 you with this build, I feel like, more than compared to the Blood Razor or the tanky one, in my opinion. So I think it could work, but Thunderlords, of course, is probably more stable. Now the runes I actually like a lot. Marks, he goes normal attack damage once. For glyphs, he goes instant cooldown once, which is nice for the backstab, of course, and also getting more cooldown. It's just good. And then he goes for armor per level. I've been trying that out for a while now too, and I actually feel like it's kind of the way to go. It's nice to have the early armor, but if you do it right, you don't get any damage in jungle, so that's nothing you have to worry about. But then the 1v1 potential. But with this build, as already mentioned, you kind of just want to burst someone, and yeah, later on this is gonna pay off pretty nicely. So I think it's definitely something you should try out and consider, and tell me what you think about it. Now for Quince, he goes for 2 attack damage and 1 attack speed. A lot of people either go 2 attack speed or 3 attack speed and just 1 attack damage then, but he just commits to the damage. As we've already seen by his build, he just goes full lethality, so actually some attack speed here would maybe complement, but he's just going for the full damage, which worked well for me as well. I'm not sure if I like the more attack speed here more, but I didn't really feel too much of a change. Now overall, I can just say that I like the build a lot. I hope that lethality and hopefully crit Shaco something will come back a lot more, and maybe there will be some nifty little changes that make it more possible or open more ways to play Shaco. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about the build. I'm really interested in hearing what you guys think. Write me in the description below what you're thinking. You can also join my Discord if you want to talk to other Shaco mains there, or to me occasionally. I have also a Twitter where I sometimes post random stuff if you want to check that out as well. I stream sometimes, same, you can check it out in the description. And as said in the beginning of the video, we're making a little community montage, so if you want to put in your clips and want to see yourself, then you can send me some cool plays with the forum that I've sent. That's all. I hope you're having an amazing day. See ya.